Ivan. Habib, welcome.
Thank you for having us, Derek.
Thanks for coming.
Is this thing live?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we've been live for
We've been
like
live
a whole minute.
Long time. long time.
Hi, guys.
Remember when you were telling those embarrassing stories earlier? We were live the whole time.
Absolutely. Okay.
So
Be sure to edit that out.
the title today, From Bartender to Businessman, we have more to talk about than that.
Great.
But I think it's an interesting topic because personally, I know a lot of bartenders.
Right.
And
Doesn't surprise me.
well, you know, it's one of those, isn't it one of those industries, how long were you a bartender?
About 5-6 years.
It's one of those ones where you sort of get hooked in and you kind of get stuck.
You're not going anywhere after that.
You get stuck, a lot of
You
people
get
do.
sucked. Yeah. You get
But
sucked
you
in that life.
You didn't get stuck. I mean, you got stuck for a while, but you got unstuck.
Yeah. By the
I think
grace
that's-
of God, man.
I think that's the big story because people aren't always just stuck in bartending. There are a lot of different jobs, servers, and there's a lot of different jobs, not just the service industry, but where people kind of get stuck in something.
It's true.
I think in bartending it's because there's a lot of cash involved. Just quick money, you sort of
It's fun.
It's a
Yeah,
good time.
Flexible
You're in the
schedule.
night.
You meet a lot of people.
Industry.
It's,
Sleep in, you meet people, you get to hang out. So you kind of get sucked into it, and then it's difficult to even imagine a transition from that
Right.
into like an 8 to 5 gig.
yeah, it's
Right.
so much flexibility there and different situations every single day to thinking that you're going to like a regular job. It's probably one of the transitions that was tough.
Were you a bartender too?
No, I just hang out at the bar.
You just know a lot of bartenders?
Yeah, we hang out. A lot of my good friends are bartenders, so I can see how it happens.
Yeah, and I've seen it too. And every bartender has a dream that doesn't involve bartending.
Right.
Yep.
Have you noticed that? They all have a dream. Sometimes just to own their own bar. That's sometimes the dream.
That's true.
But
That's
the-
a lot of people's dream. Or at least they think it is, right? Because it's one of those things where, like you said, you get sucked into it, and then maybe along the lines you don't figure out. Well, it's one of those jobs where you go into to make comfortable money while you can work on your education. You know, you can build something else, you know, because the hours are, let's say, shorter. You're getting paid cash, you know, so at the end of the day, you're making a little more, you know. And you have that flexibility during the day, whereas if you're studying, you're going to college or something, you're able to do both, you know.
Yeah.
But let's say if college isn't your thing, you know, or you don't know exactly what you're studying, you're going to be bartending for a little while,
Yeah.
you know. So
I think you gotta have a plan, just like almost anything else, and that's really good money. So if you save properly and you plan it, you can be out of that situation in a couple of years. You know, when you graduate school and you're ready to go out, you have that nice lump of money saved up. So I think that was, you know, planning it would help.
He's letting out the secrets right now.
Yeah.
See,
Thanks,
imagine all the
Habib.
planning that went into that beard. Like that isn't something that you just
Actually, no, it just happens.
Right.
It did.
It doesn't
happened
just
on me.
happen. You have to make a game plan
Well,
to execute a
it's a
beard
lot
some
like
people
that.
Lot of
it does just
maintenance.
happen, man.
For me, it does. This is like 2 days.
He's like,
so-
what are you talking about? Yeah, I shaved yesterday. I
It's
don't
like
know.
a chia pet, man. You just splash a little
grows
water
like
on
crazy.
there. You know?
That's why it's so thick here. When I spill the water on it, it just starts growing.
Coffee. There you go.
So, when was the most? So 5-6 years you're bartending. What happened when you made the decision, or what was it that made you go, you know what, I gotta do something else. I gotta make a change here.
So the way my story goes is I was bartending, but I was always looking for my career, you know. So like I said, I started off, I was going to college and doing bartending. It facilitated my studies, and you know, it got me through all 6 years of community college, which was phenomenal, right?
Oh, you did it that fast? Mine was about 8.5.
So, no, but I was constantly looking for what I wanted to do, you know, and it was just like I couldn't find it. You know, I changed my major like 4 different times. You know, I went into a little restaurant management. I did like front of the house managing, and I found that wasn't my gig either. And real estate just kept coming up. So
What was the moment? Do you remember when it happened? When you're like, okay, I have to do this now. Was there something? Was there an impetus to that?
that's tough. See, now real estate kept coming up just because people were mentioning it to me. And I got the ball rolling in that, but I didn't see it as my calling because I didn't discover it myself. You know, people kept mentioning it to me. So I was like, you know, not 100% sure, but you know what, I'm going to start the classes because obviously nothing else has worked, you know what I mean? So, and one thing I did like is I like watching the market, you know, I like how things are constantly changing. And as a bartender, you're not like sitting still and, you know, just plugging away, you know, and real estate's kind of a little bit of everything, you know. I'll be in the morning doing office work. From there on, I got to go show properties, and I got to write offers. I got to negotiate the right offer. And then I got to continue staying up to date on the market. Then I got to do my marketing as well, you know, to find other clients. So there's just
Keep you busy.
yeah, there's always something to do, and it was just kind of like, that fit with me, you know, because I'm not one to sit still. I'm not one to just do one thing. If you see me at the office, I can only sit still for like 2 hours
2
tops,
seconds.
you know. Then
It's like
I
a minute.
start walking around,
a
I start
long time.
talking to people.
I haven't sit down. Hey, have a good morning. Next thing you know, he's throwing a football across, zipping around on the scooter.
It's true.
So, bouncing off the walls.
So this essentially just sort of came to you then. It was just the universe was talking to you, was saying, "Hey, real estate, real estate, real estate." Eventually, you listened, and you got hooked up with Joe.
Yeah, so now that's a really interesting story, actually. So, like I said, I was working at a restaurant. I was working at Las Alas, this popular downtown bar. Habib's a regular there. So,
Real good food.
but yeah, so I was just kind of, like I said, I always walk in faith because I'm a faith-based person, you know, and so I always try to find the right people that resonate with my purpose, you know, and I like bartending, but obviously serving people drinks all day wasn't what I want to do.
Especially
you know?
guys
So,
like me.
So I got
Not
into real
fun.
estate. I started out my first couple months with another brokerage. Won't mention who that is, but then I found Joe on Facebook. One of the kitchen managers at my job had bought a house with Joe, and he was telling me about how Joe's a hot shot. You know, he's like, I see him on TV all the time, and he's always doing this and that. And I was
Hollywood.
like, man, yeah. And I was like, who is this guy? You know, let me get his name. So he's like, his name's Joe Corbisiero. Right away, I Facebooked him, add him on Facebook, and back then I was really into running, you know, so I was running a lot, and Joe runs a lot too. And so I remember we would see each other's posts, we would like each other's stuff, but one time I remember he mentioned something about a running app that he used, and I used the Nike running app, and I was just like, hey, you know, I haven't
Nike
used that
plug.
app, how's it working for you, you know? He just said, oh, I love it, you know, if you ever want to run, let's go for a run. And I was like, all right, well, when? You know, I was trying to book the appointment. I'm a closer, man. I'm just trying to close.
Boom.
So I was like, all right, Joe, when are we running? And he said tomorrow, 6 a.m. You know, I was like, let's do it. So I set my alarm clock for 5:30 the next day. I met with Joe out in downtown. He was living at the Mark. And it was pitch black, man. We went running. It was a beautiful run. We ran all through like Seaport Village.
Yeah, he likes that run.
Yeah, it's a beautiful run,
Up
man.
the harbor.
It's awesome, man, because you just running all along the bay. You see the U.S. carrier ship, and so we left from his house. We did like 5 miles, came back, and we hit it off. You know, we're like connecting. We have kind of similar mindsets. Obviously, he's way out ahead of me. You know what I mean? But we have similar personalities. Is what I mean. You know, so just really talkative and outgoing, and then. After that, I went home. He called me later. He said, hey, listen, you know, I'm looking for a go-getter, a hustler, you know, if it's
So
something
he was
you're willing to
scouting him
do.
before you know too. 6 a.m. What are you going to do? You're going to show up? What are your passions? All
That's
right.
right. Did you ever run with him?
No,
I mean-
not yet. I haven't shared the pleasure.
You know
I
what?
ran from him once.
Are you a runner?
I'm a sprinter, so I like riding bikes and running short distances fast.
Because most beard guys are not runners.
Yeah, we don't like
It's not
running.
aerodynamic.
No, you know what I mean? Like you don't see like
Never seen a
bearded guys
bearded guy
finishing
running from
marathons.
somebody.
Yeah,
You know, usually we're chasing people.
Not that it
or-
can't be done.
you just need 100 meters
Challenge.
and that's it.
That's it.
And then you got
Then
'em.
I'm gone, and then they're tired, and you know we're still there's a good distance away from us.
Well, that's cool, man. I think it's inspiring because I do believe that there are a lot of people who have, I think everybody has a dream of some sort, and you can get stuck in a lot of different ways. A lot of people are stuck in the service industry, you know, that's for sure. And they want out, they have a dream, and at some point you just have to make a decision, you just have to go, you just have to jump. And if we can just encourage one person to do that today, I think it'd be amazing. And
You gotta take the risk, man.
yeah, without risk, there is no reward. There's no reward there without the risk, for sure.
What I would say is never stop digging, you know. Obviously you said, yeah, you can get stuck, but never stop digging for what you want to do, you know, what your passion is, what your purpose is, you know, and as long as you do that, you're eventually going to find something, you
I
know.
think
You
it's like
just got to
that-
be relentless.
Like that photo you always see online where there's one guy digging, the other guy stops, and there's a bunch of diamonds on the
Yeah.
other side. I think you're one connection away, you're one deal away, you're one opportunity away from changing your life. So, I mean, you just keep going.
There's
You never know how close you are.
There's a saying in yoga, and I don't know exactly how it goes, but it's something along the lines of, there's nothing that can stop a committed man or woman, a committed person. There's nothing that can stop
Is it
a
'cause I'm
person
Arabic?
who's a sorry, nothing that can stop a bearded man.
We talked about this.
So yeah, there's nothing that can stop someone who's 100% committed. If you're 100% committed to something, there is no way for it not to happen.
Right, it's
Statistically, life, every single situation that has happened has been somebody that's relentless, and you can't I mean, whatever you're going to do, you're going to be, the president, you want to be the best at something else. As long as you're doing your 100% best, it's inevitable to
You think about who's the best at
accomplish
everything.
it, yeah.
Like, who's the best quarterback? What do you think, Jade?
Matthew Stafford.
Aaron
Rodgers,
Rodgers?
baby.
Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron
Oh,
Rodgers, that's
man, we got
right.
a Packer in the house?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
got
do.
a couple
Yeah, we
Packers,
do.
baby.
So Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback. Do you think Aaron Rodgers was any less than 100% committed to being a quarterback?
Absolutely
I
not.
don't think
Definitely
he's committed
not.
to anything else.
Who's the best basketball player of all time? Who's
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan, for
We'll throw
sure.
it out there.
Was there anyone who was more committed than Michael Jordan? I'm saying above 100%.
Nope.
Name any profession. Who's the best actor of all time? Just name some of the great ones. Jim Carrey. Was there anyone who wasn't 100% committed? Or was Jim Carrey not
Muhammad
100%
Ali.
committed? How about it? So all greatness comes from commitment.
Right.
And that's the one thing that's usually lacking if someone isn't, really pointed in the direction of their dream.
Right.
Because like what you're saying is keep digging, keep looking. What you're really saying is you're saying make sure you're still pointed over here. You might be going this way because this is your job and you have to do it. You're going this way, but you're still looking here. You know
down
that's
that
where
path.
I want to go that
Yeah.
way.
Some people's paths are straight, some are like this. So as
Sure.
long as you get the end goal in mind, I think it should be all right.
How about you, man? Results speak for themselves. You've had a good run recently.
Yeah, man, I think it's commitment. Exactly what we just talked about.
And what are you committed to that's getting you these results?
I'm committed to, being successful and being great, being the best. So in order to, achieve that, I know that I have to stay focused and give my 100% commitment to it, and eventually I'm going to be successful.
And so in the last 30 days, you have sold 3 homes, is that right?
We got 3 deals in 30 days. I've been with the Dream Homes team for about, about a month and a half. So got in, got settled in. I already knew all the guys before and just put my head down and got to work.
Yeah. And so in getting those results, it feels good,
Oh, it feels great.
right? The hard work, it's great. Sometimes, though, for people, they don't get the results right away.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the point where it's the most difficult
So I'll
to
touch
remain
on that.
committed.
So
Please.
prior to this, I was with, other teams and stuff, and the results weren't there for whatever reasons. But it was 6, 7, 8 months of still just focusing. Finally, that clicks, and it all comes into pay. So
How long did that take?
I was about 8 or 9 months prior to this, because I just transitioned into real estate. It's been just over a year. I do own some businesses as well, so my love for real estate brought me back into it, and I knew these guys before, and it took a while, but I think failing and learning and continuing to grow my commitment is what brought on this success. It's not like it didn't happen overnight. It happened 8 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's just popping right now. So
Yeah, there's no such thing as an overnight success. If you look at like some of the people who have been committed to content for a long time, some of the earlier guys, like Gary Vaynerchuk, for example,
Yeah.
he did 1,000 episodes of Wine Library TV before people really knew who he was. 1,000.
everything. No one sees
Episodes.
that work you're putting in,
Thousand.
the 1,000 shots you're taking a day, the 10 miles you're running before that race, the hours in the gym. That's not where you're not winning when it actually happens. You're winning prior to that.
Yeah, it's a build-up.
So you're
It took me
preparing
2
yourself.
years of doing weekend radio before I got the chance to do weekday radio.
Yeah, so no one
2
knows
years.
that story behind the success. So
Yeah, it took 2 years. So it's that commitment is important. And so you're seeing results now with the Dream Homes team and your commitment to what you're doing. I think for a lot of people though, they don't see the success. They work hard for let's say a month or two, and then they haven't seen the success yet. And so that's the I'm trying not to curse here. That's the messed up thing about the way that entrepreneurism works, the way that commission sales works, and the way that all the great opportunity I think in business works, is that it is counterintuitive to your normal way of doing anything. Normally, you touch a hot iron, you immediately know that it hurts, and so you get that. Oh, well, I don't want to touch the hot iron again, and so you learn that way. And if you go a month of working hard and you don't see any results, then it's sort of programmed in your brain that those hard working activities I did yield no results. I need to make changes. And that's what we mean by commitment, is
Absolutely.
sticking to what you're doing. Keep doing it, keep doing it, and keep doing it. until you get results. And then once they come, you should have consistent results from there.
Right.
Right?
Can I add on that?
Yeah, please.
So one thing that I keep seeing, we're involved a lot in coaching, and we like to always focusing on growth. We watch a lot of videos, read a lot of books, and one thing I keep seeing is the long-term gratification versus the short-term gratification. And Sam, who was on here recently for the debate, Sam
Big Block.
Yeah.
Big Block.
Karamian,
Shout out to
correct.
Big Block.
Try that. Shout out. He has this video where he talks about entrepreneurship and starting a new business, and he says the first 5 years you're really figuring out how to make money. You're figuring out how your business is going to work. And that's 5 years. So people get into this industry for the big paycheck. The big commission check. Everyone thinks, oh, those commission checks, those commission checks.
Yeah.
They don't know how those commission
schedule.
checks come. They don't know how much work goes into it. You have to be relentless. You have to spend months, because once you get your license, you don't know how to practice real estate. That's when the training begins. That's like day one when they give you your license. From there it's like, okay, now what? And so that's why my mentorship with Joe was so important. Because if I had gone on my own, I don't know how long it would take me.
Yeah, you got to match up
to
with
get there.
a top producer
so,
like that.
Yeah.
So sorry,
No, go ahead.
I forgot what I was saying.
Did you just go blank?
Yeah, I did.
My fault. Damn it.
Habib.
You know what? He looked right here, and he's like, "Oh shit."
The beard got me again, man. I don't know which
I've
kind of
seen it
shiny
happen
you
I think
before.
Joe's mentorship was what you were talking about.
Yeah.
That, of course, and then the persistence, so always having Joe there, always being persistent, we do a lot of like role playing on the phones, practicing different scenarios. Then you got to watch the market, learn how the market moves, different trends, so you're always studying, reading books. So like when I first started, I was pushing about 70 to 80 hours a week, so I was working full time at the bar. I would go to the office from, let's say, 9 to 4 o'clock. Then I'd be at the bar from 5 to 1, and on the weekends I'd do open houses, and that's just kind of the way we broke into the business, and Habib over here is the biggest hustler I know, man. This guy's so committed. Every day he drives, how many miles do you drive a day?
About 100 each way.
Yeah, he lives in Riverside, and he drives over here to Mission Valley every day.
Yeah.
This guy makes like 150 calls a day, he's relentless right now, and it's showing, but how long has he been doing it for?
Yeah, exactly. It's not overnight. Like I said, it's the couple different mentors that I had, trial and error, and like you were saying, those 30 days you are in those positions that you're like, man, I've been doing this, I've been doing that, this is what everyone's telling me to do, and then nothing's happening. What's going on? Is it me? Can I do this? You start to doubt yourself, and then you just like refocus, reverse engineer what you're doing. Okay, this is what I'm doing, this is what I did this week, I'm gonna try this again this week, maybe I'll try this time, maybe I'll try this. You got all the content you need on the internet right there. It's not like something that's gonna happen overnight. It's been there for years, and you kind of just collect yourself and then keep your head down and push. And
Stay committed.
exactly.
That is the key. So you guys saw the great EXP debate?
Yes. On the way
We're
home.
gonna miss that.
What did you think?
I thought that was amazing, man. I've never been more proud of Big Block, man. I'm happy to be with them, but of course I respect EXP and all the hustlers over there. But
Yeah, it's all good.
I liked it, man. I thought it was interesting.
It's two different
Are
aspects.
you asking me to give my opinion on who won it, or?
Well, no, I mean,
Okay.
you can. I was just,
No, I think, look, respectfully, there's both ends, and there is room to coexist in the market. I don't think it's going to be as drastic as they might think as far as like a disruption, because, EXP it is online based, and we are brick and mortar, but you can't compare Netflix to Blockbuster, because Blockbuster just was VHS, and you can stream everything. This industry is never going to be streaming everything. It's always going to be that personal connection, that person you trust, not just a click or emoji. I think it's never going to go away. I think that both sides will have success based on the leaders behind it, because those guys are top 5%. They're relentless, and whatever they choose to do, they're going to be successful at it. So
you got some very committed, very successful people on the other side for sure.
Exactly.
So I can tell you that.
So it's not.
What are your thoughts, Derek? What do you think?
Just what I said. You have some very committed, very successful people behind that thing. So I think it will go far.
Yeah, they will achieve
it's-
success.
You're talking about
it's
it's
definitely going to be something
You can
that
say the same thing about Big Block.
does affect. So yeah.
And they've been around for a lot longer. So I did, when
Who
I
EXP you're saying has been around?
no big block in San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like when I first met Sam in like 2011, I mean, I remember sitting, at a table like this with him, and we were just chatting about his business model, and I told him, I said, you know what you're doing, that's the future of real estate. The big box brokerage stuff, like that's going to go away. What you're doing is the future for sure. And all I've watched him do is just grow like crazy every year, and then get on the Inc. 500 2 years in a row. And so, it was one of those things, I thought it was an easy call to make at the time. Now there's other models like EXP that have come in that also bring, kind of similar idea behind it, something other than the big box model that a lot of people are
There's always
stuck
someone that's
in.
going to come in and with the newer, sleeker version, and people are going to migrate to it. And I think that there's still plenty of room, especially in this market.
Definitely.
Or any market. I know it's national, but there's, our brokerages are everywhere. So I think the markets are large enough and the economies are growing fast enough to where both models will be successful.
100% agree with that.
I have a question because I've seen EXP for a while, right? I haven't been in the business that long, but I know when I would do showings, I've seen EXP Realty for a while, and they just recently started blowing up. What do you think? What do you think that is? What do you think attributed to that?
It's because of the
Profit share.
successful, committed people at the top of that
Yep.
organization.
Got a lot of good people driving the ship. So
Driving it hardcore. So like Bob.
Right, but I'm saying, what do you think they changed? I mean, they moved there all together, it seemed like,
Yeah.
right? Like all at once. So what do you think was like the shift?
I don't
Because
think
like
they-
I said, EXP had been around for a while.
Oh yeah, EXP's been around for a long time. I think they just found out about it,
Okay.
what it was, how it worked, because it really wasn't big here in this marketplace.
So maybe their advertising or their...
I think it
Or
appeals to the
marketing?
brokers.
I'm not sure.
More. I mean, because being a business owner with that same style, I think that would appeal to me as a business owner. If I own a brokerage and like you said, you're paying all these expenses, you got a high overhead, you got a bunch of liability, you got it's a headache. It's not easy to assume that responsibility. And that's, I think, why agents go under teams, or big teams go under brokerages like that. So in their mind, they're like, wow, I can get everything I need, and maybe more efficient. I don't have to worry about this liability. I don't have to pay for this 10,000 square foot office anymore. It's more like you're sharing different office spaces. People are working from home. So I think that could be one of the draws, and I mean that would draw to me if I owned an actual brokerage.
Yeah.
So
Well, time will tell.
sure will.
And we shall see. Guys, thank you so much for coming on today. Really
Thanks for
appreciate
having
your
us,
time.
man.
Great stuff.
Pleasure.
And congratulations on your success. And of course, there's more to come today on Smarter San Diego. So stick around. We'll continue to make you smarter than everyone else.
Awesome. Bye,
See you guys.
Take care.